Hi, good evening, guys, and welcome to the ILG LCL Semi Pro League. The first match of today. It is going to be between the teams Play to Kill and TTFU. Both teams have gone through two qualifiers and have actually ended up falling one step short of the Pro League and actually entering the Semi Pro League. So let's get this thing going then. The bands coming in from the side of Play to Kill. It is going to be a Jace and Thresh band. This is the first time I'm seeing a Jace band. I'm not particularly aware who would go Jace on the side of TTFU over here. Captain Awesome probably, or Corrupt. So I'm really not quite sure who really goes Jace. So that kind of is puzzling to me. But the Thresh ban is also fairly common, and most support mains would definitely have Thresh in their arsenal. So it looks like they just want to take it away from the side of TTFU. And on TTFU side, we do see the Fizz and Z bans coming in, which are both very common mid bans. Like you see them both in solo queue and in rank game and in ranked solo queue as well. Not quite much in ranked teams. So I guess all three mid bans. Of course, yes, Lissandra does go top lane, but it looks like TTFU are heavily shutting down Play to Kill's mid laner. Who? Oh my god! I keep forgetting. Sorry, guys. I keep forgetting who goes mid lane on the side of Play to Kill. And do know that Play to Kill are not playing with their complete roster. It is only 4 of them. Their 5th pick is a stand-in because one of them unfortunately could not make it. So this is them using up their opportunity to have a stand-in player for the game. And obviously they will not be given another chance in going forward into the Semi-Pro League. So the Akali being the third and final ban from the side of Play to Kill. I suppose she is, it's again, when it comes to Akali, I always feel like if you give it to a player, he's definitely going to find the best way in order to get fed and get snowballing and get rolling. So it's kind of decent to kind of take it out. However, there are ways to address an Akali, and I guess they're just not confident enough to just let an Akali roll and believe that they can kind of shut her down in a team fight. So they looks like they are banning it. This does leave a lot of other picks open. If I remember right, Captain Awesome X is a very good Quinn. He did go Quinn top once against someone. I keep forgetting who, but it was against the Riven, and I keep forgetting the enemy team name as well. Really sorry, guys. It happened for memory, you can see. But the first pick coming in from the side of Play to Kill going to be the Jarvan. Jarvan, as we see, 100% picked or banned in this tournament. The utility and everything that he brings to the jungle is just too good to pass in this tournament, and you really don't want the enemy team to take it. So why not you just take it yourself and try and make plays with it? And on the side of TTFU, we do see the Leona being locked in for support and a Wukong jungle. So Wukong in actually a very tricky position in this new jungle because he just takes way too much damage in the early game and his survivability has been gutted by a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how Krupp tries to make that pick work because the general consensus is that Wukong is very weak early game, so lane should particularly be safe. And they could probably, the Jarvan could probably attempt to abuse this early game, I should say, by using his own bit of CC and his own bit of usefulness to kind of get some few ganks rolling and actually kind of get fed. And a LeBlanc being hovered by Sam12345. It looks like he's going to be their mid laner. And wow, Fizz, Zed, and Lissandra being banned against him. He better make, he will relatively be weak because I believe that his comfort picks were completely taken out, so he has to fall back to a LeBlanc. LeBlanc, yes, during the changes, the big change did kind of hurt her. She cannot silence enemies anymore, as we all know. However, that did not take away her damage and her burst potential, so she still has the ability to just completely delete enemies if she gets so much as 1 to 2 kills in the early game. And she finishes that red flag route, you're really gonna have to watch out for her. And if you're caught alone, God help you against that LeBlanc. Seriously, and the funniest thing is she doesn't like Fizz. She doesn't even need a healthy bit of CS in the first place because the snowball potential that you get from kills and the initial item rush is enough to see you through to the rest of the game. And wow, a Malzahar. That is a Malzahar that we're seeing on the side of TTFU. I suppose God must be crazy in that mid lane looking to go her. I'm kind of curious why God must be crazy did not go for the Syndra. Probably because he wasn't quite confident picking Syndra into a LeBlanc who does not particularly struggle, but there are ways to handle it if you're confident in Syndra. So I expected God was great to be a little confident in his Syndra. Looks like he kind of isn't, and is rather going to a Malzahar, or maybe Malzahar was his comfort pick the whole time. You never know. It wasn't ever banned against him so far in this tournament, so it'll be interesting to see what he brings. And Agent of Chaos locking in that Graves. Graves in an extremely strong position right now in this patch. I mean, he's been seeing a lot of play, not just in solo queue, but in all these big giant AoE team comps where he just lashes out with a single ultimate and multiple Qs, and just his general survivability and innate crit damage that he pulls in is staggering, really. So on the side of play to kill, we do see the Fiora top being locked in. I'm really, again, this is some rather unconventional picks. These aren't particularly team-oriented picks that play to kill both sides are going for, really, because really picking a Quinn into a Fiora, it is kind of dicey. Quinn, of course, one of those champions where pre-6, when you do close that gap, which Fiora can, you are kind of left to struggle a little bit, even with the presence of a fault. So it's a very high skill matchup. So it'll come down to how well practiced, how well versed the two champions are in playing their lanes and in play and mechanically as champions as well. So for the most part, I expect top lane to be a little passive if both players know what they're doing. However, if they do choose to trade blows, then they're either overconfident or they just have no idea what to do and they're just trying to take a few jabs at each other. So it's actually very weird that both both the Quinn and the Fiora are being picked in this game. However, that was an empty Fiora pick as well. So either he predicted the Wukong top lane or he was just very confident in his own fear. I haven't particularly seen Ghost kill all top laning enough. So I can't particularly be a good judge. However, their fifth, who was the stand-in player, goes Lucian, who is the OES. He did get a huge nerf to his passive. 6 seconds did go down to 2 seconds, so he will be able to keep his double shot up a little bit less. However, for well-practiced Lucian mains, they really say that it doesn't particularly affect him much so long as they know when to use it. So right now, unconventional picks, unconventional team comps coming in from both sides. So this will turn out to be a rather interesting game. Instead of going for we wouldn't quite see the ever so common catch comps or the wombo combo comps. However, we do see. Let's just try and gauge this for a moment. On the side of play to kill, we have the Jarvan in the jungle, who is generally very good as a jungler. Is very well rounded, provides both tankiness and a fair bit of damage if he gets a little ahead, because his skill set and his general damage that he brings is kind of makes him very relevant and a very useful champ to have in any team comp. He's a pretty much a versatile jungler. And in the mid lane, we do see a LeBlanc, high burst assassin, who pretty much has the ability, as I said, has the ability to just delete people once he finishes that DFG with the right amount of roams and the right amount of catches and the right amount of vision that is being provided by on the side of play to kill. They might hope to get the LeBlanc rolling and really scarily fed. On the support side, Sconic X going that Morgana, who is actually a very comfortable pick of his, and in general Morgana is pretty much being seen play as much as the Threshes and the Giannas and the Leonas. Really, I mean, it was a little unprecedented when she came up to the support role, because originally when she was released and for the time that she wasn't seen. No, never saw play for a fair bit throughout season 2 and early season 3, and the time when people did pick her, they thought she was a mid laner. However, nobody particularly realized her capabilities as support until late season 3 and all through season 4. So that's a bit of a history lesson, guys. Nobody really knew that Morgana would be as capable of a support. And right now, when people did start realizing and playing her, she is being seen a lot of play. So you have the AoE Jarvan, who provides a good cataclysm that can kind of catch people. Standard starts, standard this thing going on the side of on both teams actually. So they're really not trying anything funny. And this is the first game of the semi-pro league. Then they haven't quite played since qualifier 2, so they're just trying to test the waters, trying to see trying to see how effectively they can use their team forms in team fights, and trying to see how they'll gain objective control. So that was the as play to kill Steam comp goes, it's just a mix and a hodgepodge of everything. They have catch, they have a fair bit of AoE and decent damage actually. Yeah, decent bit of damage with them. Really, because on the side of TTFU, I say decent because of the way that they can play around everything that's available. Like look at the side of TTFU. You have a Leona who has a huge AoE stun for an ultimate. You have a Wukong who has a really good engage. You have a Malzahar who has lockdown. And you have a Graves who generally brings a lot of innate damage along with good AoE Q and an R. And you have a Quinn. So I would say that TTFU bring a better team comp as a team together, because the hodgepodge of different things that Play to Kill have, TTFU just kind of do it better, because you have a Quinn who can pretty much 1v1 and catch people. You have a Malzahar who can do the very same, who can pretty much suppress opponents and kind of take them out. And you have a Leona who can stun and provide her own bit of utility and kind of go right in. And wow, okay, it looks like different people on the side of Play to Kill are DCing a lot. And hopefully they resolve their issues and we can get the match going. So on the side of TTFU, as I said, they're basically a more improved version of how Play to Kill are, in the sense that they just lock down better, they just fight better, and they can kind of control objectives a lot better, because as and when they see a numbers advantage going into an objective, going into an aggressive deep ward into their jungle, you can expect to see them coming out ahead, because the innate CC that they bring is just so much better than Play to Kill, that it's just, I don't know. I don't quite see Play to Kill having the funnest time of their lives in a 5v5 team fight mid to late game. So we should pretty much pray that Play to Kill kind of use their early game. However, in the early game is where they'll shine the most. And as I said, the jungler may not have, the Wukong may not quite have as much presence as the Jarvan. So hopefully Play to Kill kind of recognize that they are potentially capable of falling off if they don't get ahead really, really soon and fairly early into the game. So, well, it looks like he has reconnected. So, will we finally see the game going in? Not quite sure. Yes, he is resuming. So that will be the resume coming in. And we yet to see the starts. We're not quite sure what both junglers are starting at. It does look like Krupp might do a buff start, while Noob Hunter 69 is going to be going for a Gromp start. Does check around a little, kind of roams around, makes sure nobody tries any funny invades. Also, another thing that I just noticed is that Play to Kill did not particularly ward as well as TTFU did this. Oh, sorry. TTFU did not ward as well as Play to Kill did, because their general coverage has been overall better. Look at how their wards are still staying, while Play to Kill are just fairly in the dark. Now, this doesn't change things. This doesn't particularly matter this particular game, because Play to Kill did not invade. But if they had they done the invade, had they recognized that, okay, TTFU did not particularly ward yet, They could have actually done a really, really good invade that could have gotten them snowballing and rolling. But we don't see that, and the game proceeds in the most standard of fashions. So Jarvan going for the Gromp into the blue buff start, while Cup on the Wukong going for a straight up start, and wow, that is some heavy early game. That is some heavy level 1 trading going on between the top laners right there. Now, as I said, I did want them to play passively. Like, this is generally how you want to approach top lane if you are high on damage, and if you are this extremely high damage and if you're facing with another extremely high damage kind of top lane, you would want to play it passively and take like light jabs. On the side of Quinn, you would probably just throw out Qs, and on the side of Fiora, you probably just want to go away. And a level 2 and play to kill, achieving level 2 well before TTFU there, so some good bit of damage will kind of shove them back and kind of drop their effectiveness really by a fair amount for level 2. So hopefully they can keep that aggression up. Hopefully they can get some pressure rolling, so that with the Jarvan they can slowly end up abusing Wukong's very ineffective jungling and just get the Lucian Morgana lane rolling, because Lucian Morgana is a very, very deadly lane when you go ahead. But and vice versa really, because if TTFU, I'm not quite sure if both Agent of Chaos and Mahesh are really well practiced and have pretty much mastered the Graves Leona combo. I feel like Graves Leona will outshine the Lucian Morgana in more ways than one, and instead of 2v5 and a huge bit of trading going and heavy trading going on in that mid lane. Sam 1, 2, 3, 4 is actually able to push God Must Be Crazy out of lane. So as it stands, it looks like God Must Be Crazy is going a little further ahead, and wow, that will be an early barrier and summoner spells being spent on the side of X-Cap and Awesome X. So TTFU having a fairly rough early game, that rough mid gank, their bot lane losing the first child into level 2, and wow, will this be no, an early Q could not quite EQ and gap close and wait for the Quinn to use a vault, so that will still not be a kill. So TTFU surviving the first 4 minutes by the skin of their teeth, literally, because we did see the top laner having to spend all of his summoners really early there with just one small engage by gold skill ult. So very dicey. I mean, it's not enough to say that they've lost, but it is a very dicey situation they put themselves in. So if play to kill kind of keep up this bit of aggression, they can pretty much try to get that dreamy early game that they wanted against TTFU. And TTFU, I believe they just have to endure. And wow, again, we do see the Morgana. So different people, different members of their team DC. And seriously, they've run out of pause time. Please don't pause again. So this is very unfortunate and a big turn of events, because TTFU now can 1v2 on the side of their bot lane, and a Graves Leona 1v2ing a Graves Leona as a Lucian is actually very scary. And it's so mentally pressuring when they can lay down a lot of pressure on you in general, and your turret will pretty much be dying a slow death as well. Look at them slowly trying to taking a few jabs and pretty much bleeding in the tower, and that will be the EQ coming in. I'm not quite sure. No, he does not have his flash. This will definitely be a first blood, or will it? No, it will be the first blood on the side of TTF. You're not play to kill. Wow, very well turned around by God Must Be Crazy there. That was a bit of a panic flash from Jarvan, I have to say, because Noob Hunter 69, he, instead of committing to the kill and waiting for the LeBlanc to finish the kill on Malzahar, he flashed away at the first simple turnaround, fearing that he would die. I mean, it's either badly gauged on his part, in the sense that probably, okay, I will be able to get away from Malzahar, while Sam 125 actually ends up killing the Malzahar. But no, not quite the case. Either that, or he just saw Corrupt and pretty much feared that, okay, Corrupt might do something. And Corrupt did kind of use his own flash in the process and secure first blood. So really good turnaround by God Must Be Crazy, and it looks like TTFU stole first blood from play to kill, with only God Must Be Crazy giving his life because he was dead in the first place, as there was a LeBlanc the whole time. So it kind of went both ways. It's good for both play to kill and TTFU, but TTFU did get the first blood after all, so they are a little further ahead in gold, and that will be a very well-timed quick draw on the side of Agent of Chaos. But there it is. Here comes Wukong. This is going to be a big counter gank for them if they manage to pull through. But no, that is a very good Morgana set. It actually makes them. It actually renders them completely useless. And seriously, that was a very intelligent turnaround by Skonic X. Right there. I mean, Corrupt, while yes, he had to recognize that he did overextend a little bit, I kind of do not have seen that coming. I kind of not seen that very good thing. And wow, the level 6 spike coming in right from Fiora and immediately lashing out at Quinn with her ultimate. And Quinn with her own ultimate tries to go back, but is not quite in the mood to back, it seems like. And it looked like he's going all in, and that will be a kill. Wow, okay. So Fiora was clearly not prepared, and I don't know, I guess I'm just gauging the top matchups wrong, because I totally expected Quinn to back off, but it looks like I was in the wrong yet again, and Quinn actually had the potential to turn around, as I completely forgot about Sky Strike, where after she goes back into a bird form, when she goes back into Quinn, she actually gets the ability to deal damage based on missing health, and Fiora was missing quite a lot of health for the move to be executed in the first place. So really well played by ex-Captain Awesome X. So he gets that kill, he looks like he does win that battle of wills that was happening in the top lane, where ordinarily it was just a little bit of passive farming and them taking slight jabs at each other. But now that ex-Captain Awesome X has the kill, we will see a slow kind of victory on the side of TTFU. So TTFU not quite able to endure this as well as they hoped to, because there were some rather aggressive ganks coming in from Noob Hunter 69, more so than Corrupt. However, Corrupt has been counter ganking very effectively so far, even though the first counter gank at mid lane did not quite help them much. The second counter gank actually ended up in getting them first blood. So Corrupt kind of reading the matchups and reading Noob Hunter's movements really well, and just being wherever he is, and really very good, some good stuff from Corrupt. I mean, I think he kind of recognizes that yes, Wukong kind of struggles in the early game, but if I manage to counter gank well enough, I may be able to come out on top. So that's kind of his thinking, and that is pretty much working for him so far. So right now, Play to Kill need to step up their aggression by a notch, because seriously, they need to get severely further ahead for their comp to work in the mid to late game and in objective control. And this right now we do see the bot lane trading blows. That will be a single this thing, and wow, Fiora with the panic ult coming in after falling so low to ex-Captain Awesome X, and ex-Captain Awesome X replies with a single auto attack. So the Bilgewater into double Dorans working wonders for the Quinn in the top lane, and the lane kind of slipping away slowly, ever so slowly, but it is definitely slipping away from Ghost Kill All, in the sense that he cannot particularly fight the Quinn anymore, straight up at least, because Fiora, as we all know, once you do get the Tiamat, you get a significant power spike, but how well will that work? Like, how well will it even work against a 2-0 Quinn, who is so close to getting that Blade of the Ruined King, and can pretty much, how do I say this? Insta you? Well, not insta, but bring you down before you can bring her down. Exactly. Right. Sorry. I kind of struggled for a bit because I couldn't quite find the words for how to explain how the lane would go for Fiora, but basically Quinn can bring down a Fiora faster than a Fiora can bring down a Quinn if she finishes once the Quinn finishes the Blade of the Ruined King. And blows being traded all over the place. That will be the Ignite securing the kill for Sam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some good bit of aggression. It's actually, I kind of believe predicted the timing wrong, and wow, I did not quite see that come at all. The Quinn and the Wukong completely turning the gank around, and Noob Hunter 69 with his own bit of aggression. The flash was not quite needed unless it was really necessary, which it didn't seem like it. But oh well, he did get the kill. I guess he wanted to get away 100% scot-free. So some big plays coming in from both teams. where we do see Sam onto 345 kind of solo killing God Must Be Crazy, and the immediate counter gank. Like, not counter gank, kind of like a retaliation from Corrupt and ex-Captain Awesome X. So ex-Captain Awesome X doing a good job of spreading her effectiveness, spreading the fact that yes, I am a little ahead. I have a fair bit of gold. I might most probably reach this thing. And wow, I completely missed that bot fight. Sorry guys, I could not quite pan over to see what went on, but it does look like an all-in from the Leona and the Graves. So basically, this is where the Leona Graves combo completely outshines. And as I said, if they're very well coordinated, they can bring off it. And wow, look at that damage. Sam 1235 giving hell for God Must Be Crazy right now. That's it. That with just that small spell rotation, God Must Be Crazy is completely pushed back. Look at his mana. He didn't even get to do anything in lane as he got back, and that will be a really good bit of aggression. But wow, that is a very aggressive Q coming in from Ghost Kill All. That really, I mean, he is in a worrisome spot, and I feel like Noob Hunter 69 needs to completely switch his strategies up and help his Fiora, because the immediate target for Play to Kill to try and shut down is that Quinn in the top lane. So this is him trying to go for it. So it is worded. So Captain Awesome X, ex-Captain Awesome X will have the necessary information to back off. So really, I mean, Play to Kill could very well be taken for a complete, like, how do I say it? Play to Kill could be pushed against the wall in the face of the Quinn right now, because 3-0. That is a 3-0 Quinn who absolutely, does she? I think she does. Yes, that is her backing for a Blade of the Ruined King. So that will be her snowballing and kind of trying to see TTFU through the early game at least. However, do note that when she does start roaming, oh my god, she actually stops her recall and recognizes the invade coming in from Noob Hunter 69. And Noob Hunter 69 picking Fiora to just collapse onto Quinn, but it does not look like it'll quite happen. Or is it? No, that will be an EQ, nothing particularly happening. They kind of felt for a moment that Quinn would be in that brush, I guess, and kind of wanted to check for themselves. And Corrupt with the heavy counter jungling. Good, very good calls coming in from Captain Awesome X, seeing the job and invading their own red side and completely going into steal his blues, or steal his reds, sorry. So very good communication coming in on the side of TTFU. So this is it. Although their objective was to just survive the early game and the wrath of this thing, the only person who's going to be struggling by it is God Must Be Crazy, who actually goes in and kills LeBlanc. Oh my god, as I was talking, he was actually killing the one thing that was completely shoving him out of lane. So Play to Kill slowly, Play to Kill kind of gradually losing the early game advantage that they had built up fairly really well. And because of this, because of Corrupt's general red steal and God Must Be Crazy slowly kind of going back, it has turned from a simple battle of survival for TTFU into pretty much a inevitable victory, even, because the top lane is very much obviously set. And wow, that is a good ult, but very well dashed by Lucian to kind of escape the aftermath that could have potentially followed from the Leona ult. So this is it. Like, this confidence that TTFU boasts shows that they are very confident that their team comp will win the friendly fights and team fights. They're like, yes, we do have the better comp. We can do things better than they can. They needed a very good early game, but they don't quite have that early game that is required. And this will be for the any kind of trading blows. But and what joy! This is going to be a huge gank coming in from Sam 1345. We did see him chasing away the Agent of Chaos, and even the ult into a Q, not quite able to get even a return kill there. So 1 for 0 going in from that bot lane. I presume that Noob Hunter 69 would kind of want to use this for a dragon, but no, there is a flash engage. Oh my god, I did not quite notice that at all. Sam 1345 actually recognizing the other kill opportunity onto the Agent of Chaos, and a flash W into a Q into an E, I believe, was the combo that he used to kill the Graves there. So, wow. Big plays coming in. The LeBlanc slowly getting ahead. And as I said, this is the scary LeBlanc that Play to Kill pretty much need in order to do really well in team fights and establish control over not even the enemy jungle, over their own jungle and in the riverside, so that they can actually contest. They can contest for vision so well if the LeBlanc is far enough ahead. And it does not quite look like they're up for doing that, because look at this. Like, Quinn immediately settled into the mid lane to try and get the tower, and this is pretty much what TTFU needs. So TTFU playing their comp by the book and pretty much perfectly, and ex-Captain Awesome X is going up to defend his tower against the Fiora, who has been struggling, by the way, very, very, very hard in that top lane, ulting out of panic and all that. And oh my god, this is gonna be the ult. Will this all-in be enough to kill her? I'm not quite sure. That will be the W. She disengages. I'm not quite sure why she disengaged, because Noob Hunter did show himself on that map in that bottom side and the mid, and never mind. I spoke too soon. This will be her taking the turnaround kill, but can she kill him? Yes, she will. Pretty much baiting a barrier out. So that was very close. That was Fiora gaining the ability to kind of turn around and fight back. And that was scary. Recently. And also another thing I kind of failed to mention when the Fiora was locked in was that the single target damage of their ultimate has been buffed. So 1v1s, we could very well expect the Fiora to end up winning as she gets more items. In general, because there is no way a Quinn would build tanky and armor to kind of endure the damage. And wow, that is a severely aggressive Leona ult coming in as usual, but a very good disengage ult from Skonic X, and that is a very safe Pantera and Skonic X in that bot lane. So the bot lane enduring a great many bit of punishment. Of course, the only thing that really helped them so far was Sam out of 345's roam, and Krupp kind of being chased away from his jungle there. He did see the pink ward. Now they have the information that yes, they gain vision. They know that yes, Play to Kill have the vision in that side rush. I cannot really get there. So right now, Krupp should really be trying to focus on mid lane, and again, Noob Hunter 69 really not establishing his effectiveness on that Jarvan. And mixed, but look at this, look at the things that TTFU are doing. And wow, will we see a Dead Graves? Yes, that will be a Dead Graves. A beautiful all-in coming in on the side of, surprisingly, on the side of Play to Kill side instead of this thing as them. And a huge teamfight coming off the Cyclone, trying to hit and trying to get a few kills, but Sam out of 3 is not able to finish off. Will he be able to get the kill? No, he cannot get the kill onto God Must Be Crazy either. And Fiora cannot ult in time in order to try and secure the easy double kill that was right in front of their eyes. And Sam 1-2-3-4S, sorry, actually disengaging because he just could not continue any further. Cooldown's hard, I guess. And this is it. Oh my god, God Must Be Crazy with another really good Malefic Visions that transferred from minions right onto Sam 1-2-3-4S himself. So wow, very good fighting coming in from TTFU, and they're doing really well to focus their energies and focus the effectiveness of each and every single Fed laner to good use. Well, not each and every single Fed laner, it's just the Fed top laner. They're putting the Fed Quinn to very good use right now in pushing 2 towers into that mid lane. Now this gives them complete control over Dragon in terms of vision, and they can start planting on the enemy side. The pressure game is on right now for Play to Kill, because TTFU are just ever so slowly going to start moving in onto Play to Kill jungle and chase the Jarvan out. The already fairly less effective Jarvan could potentially be shut down even harder, and soon enough he may not be allowed to go into his own jungle even. So Play to Kill have to really scramble and get their LeBlanc even more fed and play and secure objectives around the LeBlanc's positioning. And right now, Sam 1-2-3-4S is trying to go in and do something really well. Sorry, not do something really well. By that I mean kill ex-Captain Awesome X. And they do it fairly effortlessly. You saw how, as I was explaining what Samurai has had to do, he killed him. So that should show you the speed and the damage that he brings into every single team comp. But how far can this take? How far can this particular gank take play to kill? Because right now they're losing a dragon for X-Captain Awesome X's death, and they do opt to push the top lane and double push top lane and kind of try and back the Queen onto a wall by forcing her to go that top lane and shove it out. Or unless Luban can make a big play. No, he cannot. That is a late EQ. There is no escape for him. He does not have flash. Nothing can bail him out right now, and that is a dead Noob Hunter 69. And oh my god, God was crazy with a very, very good ult and in slightly unneeded flash. There was no way he could have predicted it though, so you can't really blame him for the flash. However, that is X-Captain Awesome X soloing the Fiora, but can he get a very... Oh my god, that is a very good double kill, very well played. Instantly recognized which one was the clone there. And really, I mean, props to Captain Awesome X for kind of recovering from their heavy push. And oh, they did not get that top lane, they did not get that top tower as well. So things kind of working doubly better for TTFU, because first of all, the dragon wasn't particularly stolen, and second of all, the top lane tower was not really pushed that far. So this is a very expensive, very costly mistake on the side of play to kill. I don't quite see how they could potentially recover from this, rather than I can't see any further than just them trying to use their vision better. Because right now, yes, they have riddled wards all over the dragon pit, but they still could not contest it because Sam1234S opted to go for a top roam. And really, unless they heavily believe that Noob Hunter could have stolen the dragon, all of the vision is really not being put into any effective use. And Ghost Killall has actually been doing nothing but going top all game. I'd expect Ghost Killall to counter roam. I'd expect Ghost Killall to start roaming himself and put his Ravenous Hydra and now BF Sword Fiora to better use by trying to go after the squishies, by trying to go after the Graves or the Malzahar with no escapes. They are not really recognizing the subtle potentials of their champions as much as TTFU are for theirs, because X-Captain Awesome X, once he did get rolling and fed, the roams that he pulled off alongside Corrupt were really, really good, and that is a very aggressive kind of move being made by Noob Hunter 69. Will this really work for them though? We do see Sam1234S hiding right outside the raid camp. This will be not much of a collapse coming in, but TTFU did good to read. TTFU had a good read on the play to kill there, and that is a weak EQ. But again, this is really not... Oh my god, the passive saving Sam1234S out of that, and wow, that is a very aggressive fear ultimate, but it would never work. It's not particularly productive, and Corrupt flashing in and completely decimating Sam1234S after she fell so heavily low from God Must Be Crazy. So God Must Be Crazy outscaling LeBlanc. I'm not even sure how he's managed to do this, because I'd like to say that Sam1234S screwed up and really could not push his advantage into trying to chase God Must Be Crazy out of lane. So I guess his itemization is working wonders for him. The Rod of Ages with the health that it supplements, and he also has a Giant Spell right now. So even though Sam1234S has a DFG, she's really not able to combo her abilities along with the DFG to good use and delete Malzahar, which is what LeBlancs usually do. So when that happens as a LeBlanc play, most LeBlanc players would know that that is when your effectiveness starts dropping. That is when things start being very worrying for you. So TTFU kind of just leading play to kill and their intentions very well. And really, I mean, play to kill are kind of mentally even losing this, and wow, will they execute? No, not quite. I half expected. That is one reason why Wukong's very weak in New Jungle, guys. Corrupt getting that low is exactly the reason why Wukong struggles in the New Jungle. But again, in this game, it does not matter. And wow, a very beautiful flash E into an R. And God Must Be Crazy, kind of slowly and very steadily dominating the LeBlanc at this rate, because he will only scale further, he will only scale harder, and his lockdown will only be that much more of a pain. And another big engage coming in from Agent of Chaos. So every lane kind of picking themselves up. So it started from top lane snowballing to the mid lane slowly recovering, as the bot lane eventually kind of completing the circle, you could say, of comebacks. Well, not comebacks, completing the circle of achieving their potential. And this will be a bit of an aggressive invade. That is a very beautiful Leona ult. Can they finish and end up getting the kill? Yes, they can, very easily even. And wow, Mahesh doing really well to tank the tower, recognizing that yes, okay, my AD carry is snared and that he cannot tank the tower any further, and that will be Kicks Captain Osimex going right in and completely decimating the Fiora, the older struggling Fiora, or the 1-7 Fiora really, who could not counter roam and pretty much use her own effectiveness up. And LeBlanc at the top, AFK. I believe it was a DC. Play to Kill has been plagued with disconnects all game right now, and seriously, this is what losing your pause time can do to you guys. Never let it get to the point where you lose all your pause time in a game, because you can never predict what's gonna happen next. And for all you know, you will need precious time for yourself in order whatever happens, no matter what happens, you really need that pause time to kind of fix things and get things rolling. And seriously, I'm the sort who might even preach that pause times are also good for strategic calls, for strategic thinking, when you're thinking about stuff, and when you're pretty much trying to tell people what your next move is. So I'm all in for that. It's just that teams just don't do it, and they only use it if and when there's a problem, which of course is also the official way to use it, I believe. So I can't really say much for that. And right now, both teams stacking up. Here, in theory, TTFU have the better team comp, remember. And right now, not only do they have a better team comp, they're also ahead with that better team comp. So it could very well go rapidly out of control. They do steal the blue, and this is the pressure game that I'm talking about. This is probably the first of many buff steals that they would end up doing if it even gets to that point, because ordinarily when a team is this fed, you'd expect them to end the game really soon, and they seem to be on it right away in doing the Baron. So with this, and wow, okay, Sam 1-3-4-5 is on the other side attempting a steal, but will this win? No, not quite. A well-timed stun coming in from Mahesh to stop Sam 1-3-4-5's attempt at doing anything. And will this be it? No, not quite. Look at how a DFG, that is all it did to a queen, ladies and gentlemen. And wow, that is a good ult, and this potentially could be a really good turnout on the side of TTFU. The Cyclone coming in will hit 3 people, and he kind of spread it around. He did good to spread it around and completely turns it on. That will be TTFU's crushing victory in what appears to be the final team fight. And this should very well be a GG, because 20-minute death timers really cannot stop. 20-minute death timers and 4 people on the enemy team, with one of them being a really big and fed Graves. You really can't expect to do much of a comeback, and that will be the game. Sam 1-3-4-5 weekly goes in. I'm not quite sure where they'll go far, and they are not able to finish because of a troll inhibitor. Oh my god, what a twist of fate. The inhibitor buying time for Play to Kill to kind of still give them a tiny bit of hope in this game. And will they get away safely? No, they cannot quite. The teleport did come in from Ghost Kill All ahead, and she still ends up giving her life though. So it's 3-9 Fiora, and that was some very, very excellent kind of coming in from Agent of Chaos. Can they actually end up killing this? No, not quite. They get the Lucian low, but they are unable to finish him. And that will be a slow collapse and a slow comeback coming in from the side of Play to Kill. A triple kill coming in for Sam 1-3-4-5. I mean, that is to be expected, because nobody would have seen the inhibitor coming back and completely turning the tides around for them. But again, I really don't think this is enough for them to come back into the game, for them to pick themselves up after how rocky their early and mid game went. And we do see Captain Awesome going in and soloing the dragon because that's how fed he is. Look at his Banshee's Veil. Like, one Banshee's Veil from him was enough. We saw earlier how his after TTFU took Baron, when Captain Awesome ulted and went right into the Tribe Rush where he believed Sam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sam 1, 2, 3, 4 S was. We saw how weak the DFG into the combo was on Captain Awesome X. And all of that was just caused by one Banshee's Veil. Ordinarily, one Banshee's Veil would not particularly be enough to address the issues, to address LeBlanc's damage. You need to spread it around. You need to try to get some real damage into her while she goes and tries to do anything at all. So, Captain Awesome X in a really scary position. The Infinity Edge has been done. And right now, TTFU trying to land the final nail in the coffin. They know that Play to Kill are kind of backed up against the wall, and this could very well be the first of many. Sam 1, 2, 3, 4 is standing all the way there, hoping to get a kill on Agent of Chaos, but he still is. He's still all up for going for an Agent of Chaos. I guess he's just waiting for his W to come back off the cooldown. And will we see it? Will we be able to see the kill coming in here? Sam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is just going. No, he kind of misses the ethereal chains. Now Agent of Chaos has the information that he is coming back. Will this be enough to kill? No, not quite. He does miss the ultimate though. So there is still hope with Sam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is. Oh, Agent of Chaos. You need some really, really exquisite skill to get out, and no, he can't. Like as expected. So the rest of Play to Kill are kind of staggering up. That will be a dead Wukong, and God was crazy missing his ultimate. Does not particularly matter because Mahesh was able to secure the kill on his own, and here comes Captain Awesome X completely cleaning up the team fights. LeBlanc still has his ultimate up, so he might still make for play, but without DFG I really don't see much particular opportunity for her really, because this is it. Like, this is God must be crazy going back, but look at the amount of health he's built. The Riley's Crystal Scepter onto the Rod of the Age is really doing well, and Captain Awesome X is just happily finishing the game on his own there. And that is it. That is GG, I believe. No, what is he doing? Never mind. Well, that is GG eventually for TTFU, and that will be Play to Kill absorbing themselves in heavily in pretty bad decisions and really not focusing their energies in the right places, while TTFU completely made use of an extremely fed Quinn and managed to secure a victory.